Welcome to another video of Planning Snippets. Let's sit back and enjoy. We're going to have a conversation with EY about optimizing HR and finance processes.
Hello, Davy and Cedric. Thank you and welcome to the PNT virtual meetup. It's the Planning Snippets edition, and I'm actually quite excited that you're willing to spend some time with me to discuss EY's latest endeavors in the world of strategical and financial planning. But before we do that, can you tell me something about yourselves and EY in relation to the planning space?
Definitely. Hi, Nick. Great to be here. So shortly introduce myself. David van Ingelgem. I'm a director in the technology consulting practice of EY, based out of Brussels. And I lead the SAP analytics team in Belgium. And next to that, I also lead our Agile Business Finance offering, which is our go-to-market solution when it comes to finance transformation enabled by SAP technology in EMEA. I have 12 years of experience in finance transformation projects, mainly utilizing SAP technology. Myself, quite since 2.5 years, a very strong focus on the entire SAP analytics product portfolio and on SAP group reporting. That's from a professional perspective. On the private side, I'm a very proud father of 2 sons, 5 and 9 years old, having the energy of 6 kids. And besides that, I love to play football and go do some running. So that's it from my side. Cedric?
Yes, hi. Happy to join this afternoon call as well. I'm Cedric Verfaye. I'm a part of the technology advisory practice in Belgium as well, just like Davy. For the past 6 years, I've been working also with the field of analytics. And I'm very happy to share with you some new developments that we have done at EY in this domain. I don't have any children yet from a personal perspective, but I do have a small puppy dog, which is also having a lot of energy and requires me to go running with my dog, as well as I like to cycle in my free time as well.
Good. Well, thank you very much for joining the both of you. And straight to the topic, because the planning snippets are to the point. I heard so you had some exciting news to share on a very topical subject, which is people, finance and analytics.
That's correct, and very glad that we can indeed share some of this exciting news. So maybe provide a little bit of context first. So we have seen in the last couple of years that a lot of organizations have embarked on their digital transformation roadmap. This is definitely a trend that a lot of these transformation journeys start in the finance or on the HR side. Yet we see many organizations having difficulties to react with their workforce in a nimble or proper way. So look, for example, now the situation that we're enduring with the COVID-19 epidemic. Now, at many of our customers, we see that the in-place IT solutions for finance and HR are disintegrated, which leads to very, time-consuming, manual-intensive processes where the teams need to stitch data from different systems together. And as a result, many of our beloved CFOs and CHROs are taking decisions on outdated and even inaccurate data. Now, leveraging on many of the finance and HR transformation initiatives, we have developed an analytics solution, which we then branded as People Finance Analytics, mainly with the idea to bridge that gap between finance and HR, and to maximize the value that organizations get once they have implemented S/4HANA or SuccessFactors or both, or even created a solution in such a way that it's source system independent. Now, the solution brings finance and HR data together into an analytical layer where simulations are possible. And this plays to research we have done at EY, where we have seen that companies where the relationship between finance and HR has become much more collaborative report an average higher EBITDA growth, stronger improvement across a range of human capital metrics, including employee engagement, productivity, and so on. Now, from a technical perspective then, we've built our solution with SAP Analytics Cloud, where we bring together the HR, finance, and experience data from SAP SuccessFactors, S/4HANA, and Qualtrics. And then we basically translated our EY IP, our in-depth functional knowledge on the finance, tax, and HR side into the SAP Analytics Cloud solution and developed a ready-to-deploy ETL layer connecting the mentioned source systems.
That's quite something. And I think it's a notorious difficult topic to bring HR and finance and such together. But given the current crisis, I think it's even more important to manage it now than ever before. But could you address what is EY's specific vision then in addressing this matter?
Yes, so as Davey has introduced, we at EY, we have developed a solution called People Finance Analytics. And to just give you a bit more of concrete examples of what our SAP Analytics Cloud solution can do. So basically it consists out of 3 use cases, as we call them. One is around FTE budget planning. A second one is about internal project resourcing. And a third one is about how can we calculate the ROI on our learning and development programs. So if I just go back to the first one, which is the FTE budget planning, as Davey rightfully mentioned, due to the current COVID-19 crisis, and we've seen that a lot of our customers have had some difficulties or are experiencing some difficulties and financial difficulties. So what our first use case does is it gives our customers the opportunity to simulate certain FTE planning scenarios. It allows them to either increase, decrease from a bottom-up perspective the number of FTEs in their departments, or it allows them from a top-down perspective to simulate what would be the impact if we decrease our salary expense with a number, a certain percentage. Now, our second use case is about the internal project staffing. As you know, at SAP probably, a lot of organizations are going through some sort of a digital transformation. And those type of business transformations require a lot of internal resources. What our solution offers is, as a project manager, you open up a project, you select the profiles that you would need, and our solution automatically looks for the best fitting profiles within your SuccessFactors database. You can include a couple of criteria like the available budget you have, the fit with the competencies that your internal profiles would need, or even the motivation that they have to join this type of project. And then coming to the last and third use case that we developed is the ROI calculation on learning and development programs. So as we all know, the war for talent is on. And a lot of resources are going through our learning and development programs. So we thought, let's make a solution so our HR officers have a better tool to see, okay, what type of learnings in my L&D program are popular, what is the benefit I get out of it, and that will also help to work together with the CFO to better plan the learning and development programs for the future. So that's basically what our People Finance Analytics solution can do, and we are looking forward to bring that to our customers.
Good, sounds really interesting, but of course now I want to see something. Is it possible that you're willing to share one of those scenarios with me here today?
Yes, I am indeed very happy to show our new solution, which is called People Finance Analytics. And what we're going to demo today is the first use case we developed, being the FTE Budget Planner. And as you can see immediately on this dashboard, you can see that we integrated both financial data and HR data. You can see from the financial point of view, the monthly salary costs. So we do have a monthly salary cost of 1.7 million, and that number actually comes from our SuccessFactors system. You can also see some HR-related KPIs, like the average FTEs, current month FTEs. Typically, those are numbers that are quite hard to keep accurate. But you can also see, and these come from our SuccessFactors system. And you can also see that, as I've introduced a couple of minutes ago, the company that we're looking at is actually a manufacturing company that is losing money. So we can see on the top right that we are currently having a net income of minus 16.5 million. more or less. And what I will try to do with you during this short demo is to find out the root cause of this, and if we can find a way to make the organization profitable again. So I will immediately go to our tab sheet FT simulation, where we can try to simulate if we need to increase our revenue to become profitable again, or if we need to cut costs by looking at our number of FTEs and perform some adjustments. But before I go into the simulations, I would like to introduce you to this tab sheet. As you can see again here on the left-hand side of the screen, we have a couple of filters. We can filter on countries. Within those countries, we can filter on the departments, and actually we can even filter on the pay grades within those departments. To the left-hand side of the screen, you see a full P&L that's being pulled in from our integrated SAP S/4HANA system. And on the right-hand side, you see the organizational structure, which is actually pulled in from our SuccessFactors system. Now, when we look at the P&L statement, we can see that we do have that number of 16.5 million loss. Now, I want to make sure that before I try to look at the salary expenses, I want to see the root cause. Are we making a loss in both organizations, or is the loss limited to one or two organizations? So what I do is, when I filter out Germany, you will see that the solution automatically pulls the P&L of only the United States. And you can actually see that we are making money in the US. So that leads me to the conclusion that Germany is probably the organization or the country where we are losing money. So when I now remove United States from my filters and I filter only on Germany, the system will again pull the P&L statement from Germany. And you will also see that my organizational structure on the right-hand side has changed to reflect the German organizational structure. So when I look now at the net income, I do indeed see that Germany has an actual loss of -27 million. There are two opportunities that we can take, because we see that here in our actuals revenue, you can see that we don't have any revenue reported, which makes sense in this demo environment, since we made the choice that Germany is our manufacturing plant, which does not generate revenues. That's one opportunity that we can take, or we can look at the expenses, the salary expenses, and you see that we do have a full list of all types of costs that are incurred by having employees. So you see that we have bonus, we have sick pay, we have vacation pay wages, we have the actual salary costs of close to 500,000 year to date. And what we will try to do is to see what happens to our net income if we add a revenue. So in order to prepare this demo, I've already made a planning version to see, okay, what would happen if I plan to have a net revenue, or if I increase my revenue with 22.5 million euros. Then you can see on the net income that I still have a loss of $207,000. Euro. Yeah. So what I would like to do now is to find a way to make sure that we have that we become profitable. And what I can do is I can do two approaches when I look at the salary expenses. If I remove or reduce the current salary cost of 470,000, and I reduce that cost with 50%, I can just easily type minus 50%. The solution will automatically calculate what the salary expense is and how that impacts my net income. So as you can see, by reducing from a top-down perspective the salary expenses with 50%, we have become profitable. And it shows that we are now having a net income, planned net income of 29,505 euro. You will also see on the right-hand side that the number of FTEs are being recalculated in our planning, because of course we have taken now a top-down approach. You will see that through a calculation in the background, the number of FTEs have reduced as well. So from an HR point of view, you now also see what the impact is if you would need to lay off people. Now, if we say, okay, let's do not be too harsh on ourselves, and if we would like to avoid a major layoff, we can also take a bottom-up approach. Where you could say for the different departments in our German enterprise, so you see leadership team, operations, engineering, production, so on, we can readjust the numbers. And just for the sake of demo, I will increase the number of FTEs in our leadership team from almost 1 FTE to, let's say, 20 FTEs. You will see that the salary costs will automatically be adjusted and calculated. So we come to a salary cost of 68,000. And you can also see that this now impacts as well our P&L statement from a bottom-up perspective. Again, now we are just around bottom break-even figure, and we now with this bottom-up approach, you can see that we have still a loss of 150 euro. So I do hope that we have been able now to show how we can look for ways to make organizations profitable again by either increasing the revenue, decreasing the salary costs from a top-down perspective, or stimulating the number of FTEs from a bottom-up perspective and seeing the immediate impact on the P&L.
Well,
thank you.
I can say that look great, Cedric, and I'm especially amazed by how you've intertwined success factors and S/4HANA data. It's difficult to do that in such a way that you wouldn't notice as an end user that you're working with these different sources. So it was quite good to see that. But I can imagine that people are thinking about huge cost on how you get something like this set up. So what I'm wondering is if you could also share something from EY's perspective on how could you set this up? So what would be the cost, more or less? What is the timelines people should be thinking of when they look at a solution like this?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So basically, there are two commercial models that we've put together. The first one is for you're a customer who has S/4HANA, SuccessFactors, or one of the two. Now, we have deployed we have built a starter kit, which proves quick value for money. So for $25K US, we deploy the People Finance Analytics solution as a standalone solution, which can then be fed by data sets from your company. So in approximately a month's time, you have a proof of concept that can be shown within the company during a roadshow that demonstrates the strength of SAP Analytics Cloud, which provides analytics and simulation capabilities on your organizational, financial, and HR data, building up that trust and building up that business case within the company, right? Building upon this starter kit, then, we can start an implementation project to integrate the source systems S/4HANA and SuccessFactors and tailor the KPIs and dashboards to meet the business requirements of the company. Or another scenario is we can enter an implementation project immediately in a time and material way of working, integrating the SAP Analytics Cloud solution immediately with the associated source system and tailor the KPIs and dashboards. Now, the second model is that if you are a non-S4 and SuccessFactors customers, and that's the beauty of the solution, it can also work source system independently. We can start that implementation project on a time and material basis where we integrate to these source systems that you have in place. Now, in both scenarios, we definitely use our transformation methodology, which is focused on 3 key pillars: people, process, and technology. And I like the analogy that since you can give somebody the best pencil in the world, it's not going to make them the next Picasso, right? So hence, in every transformation project that we go through, we put a lot of focus on people enablement and taking a step back to ensure process optimization combined with the right technology solution. So that's how, as EY, we're going to the market with this.
I like that. I like the fact that it's concrete, it's specific, the way that you can actually help the company setting up something like this, and well, maybe less close to my heart, but also the fact that you can set it up if it's not completely SAP, and that's very valuable for people in the call probably as well. But with that, I think we're at the end of our planning snippet. So Davy, Cedric, thank you very much for joining. Of course, your contact details can be seen here, and let's stay in touch on that side. But for now, thank you very much.
Many thanks, Nick. Enjoy the day. Speak soon.
All right.
Bye. Thanks, Cedric. Bye.